Hey guys, it's Pete from Keep It Sharp. I thought we'd do an update on the Treyco today and see what else. We'll see what other trouble we can get into. Stand by, and I'm gonna put you in the tripod. All right. Well, I hope I got a good thing here. We'll go over here. So first thing is we want to take these puppies up. And my little whatever you want to call it. So the big update is let's get this around so you can see me, is I have gone to a smooth plate. So with Treyco, you gotta send a hollow in to be smooth, because whatever you do on one side you gotta do to the other. And I think they may have said just cut and dry, no flat. So this was my hollow, got it done. I have used it 2 or 3 times so far, and I'm really impressed. Now Dennis Brooks from Hamburger USA, he was already doing this with them. He claims he's getting 1,000 blades on a plate. Much better than 240. Like, I think that's the best I could do. And they started having trouble. So if you've got a Treyco with the original Treyco plate with the little grooves, if you think you've done over 200 blades, and now you're starting to have trouble with certain blades, I think they say a 4 and 7 or something, I forget what it was. They say there's 2 different ones you'll see the problem with. But my thing is, especially if you have like a hollow flat and suddenly in the middle of doing blades and things, what'll happen is they stop, the test cuts start screwing up, and you got to go back and you may have to sharpen it 2 or 3 times to get it to work or whatever. And things like that are happening. Your plate needs to be resurfaced. So like I said, if you got a flat hollow, I guess you just got to send it in. Your 200, I forget, what are we getting hit with? I think it's 2 or 250 for a resurface. So I don't know, to me, having to do that, especially now that I got the bus and I am busy as, I shouldn't say, I'm not busy as hell yet, but I'm very busy. I've even gotten my wife to help, because it's not uncommon for me to get, I mean, the average would probably be 15, 20 blades per stop, but I've had as many as 50. So, and if you think about that, a plate's only going to last a few weeks. So yeah, flat. So here we are, flat. I bought one of these to do it, and you put your lard oil obviously on first, and then powder, obviously put a big coat, and you do scrub it hard in the beginning. And what I found was, and then I do one blade or a practice blade, give that a few swipes, then I put powder on again, and I'm giving it another swirl, and then before I would have to put new powder on or completely take the powder off and put some fresh lard oil and powder about every 4 to 5 blades. And with this, I'm definitely getting 6. I think I got scared after 6, but I still had a pretty good spark pattern, so I think I can go more than 6 on a charge. So I'm really liking that. Everything is sharp and perfect. So I really think the smooth plate, we talked about this, but I think it is, like I say, we're gonna have to find out. If I find out it's going bad, it 200 or 300 blades or something, I'll obviously put a video out. But I think we're gonna get our 1,000 possibly. So yeah, here we go. Ooh. Problem is I can't get this to tilt forward, but I don't know if you can see that. Let's give you a really close up. And it almost looks like there's some little lines here, and I think that's what they talk about with going into the holes, they say, but I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. I mean, you rub your finger on it, you do feel a little groove. Maybe let it go off. But now, I was recently watching some Edge Pro videos, and he had a divot in it, in the plate. We all know about that with these damn arms falling down. Problem was with that other, with the grooved plate, we'll call it. It depending on the size of the divot you get in it, you pretty much got to send it back in to be resurfaced. What they were showing was with a smooth plate. They were talking about one of their plates, but their plates are aluminum and smooth. You get a divot if you take a chisel, but a wood chisel, and you take that and rub it across the top, pull off anything that's above the surface. That little hole will fill with grit, and you can go, and there's no issue. So there's another big plus to going smooth. So I'm, like I say, I don't know, I was going to wait longer, but I've used it 3 or 4 times, probably 15 blades per time. I think I did end up with one that I had to resharpen. And I can't remember what it was. It was probably one of the thick ones or something. So, yeah, that's the deal. The other thing I'm starting to do, and it's not laziness, but all my flat blades, all my wide blades, I'm doing them by hand, just because I don't want to have to take the time to change the thing for the shorter stroke. But I'm sure I could. So that's one thing I'm doing. Anything over a let me get it for you guys. Anything over the 093, a 7. So anything over a 7.7F, I'm doing by hand. Because even with it all worked when I went to the old Treyco 2000 thing, but they ran out of them, and I don't know if they're going to make them again. So I wanted to give you guys an option. I set it up for the 093, which is good for 40s, 30, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, and 7. That's the I think that's the majority of the plays. So I can still use the automatic arms for those ones, and that's what I've been doing. And anything else, so I don't have to screw with anything. I got one of these magnets, which works awesome for the comb, and then from Dennis Brooks at Hamburger USA, I got one of these. I should show it. Giving Dennis some, but yeah, and I'm using that for the cutters. Pops right on good. So you only got to practice a few times, and what you do when you're on just to throw some knowledge out there. Oh shoot! There's a comb. Hang on, just need to grab a comb. What I'm doing, sorry. So you want to be dead in the middle. This one's filthy too. But what I do is I put the magnet up close to where, now on the thicker ones, where you stop finishing is further back. I hope you understand that. So I put it as close to where it stops. So with these, this is I think a 30. I hope this is coming out right. That looks a little crooked. I'm out of air, sorry. But towards that, and then I hold it pretty much 2 fingers here, 1 finger on top, which is towards the front. And then when you go, remember you got your center line. Get you a laser if you can't sit there. But I sit there, I know right there, so I know that's the line. And a little bit of pressure on that front one. I mean, it's not even pressure, just a slight tilt to the front. Okay, you don't have to go crazy or anything. And back and forth. And like I say, I'm only doing that on the big blades. Having super good results. And I'm still doing it. I think we covered it before, but you know, so I have a little system. Cupcake pan, I blow them out unless they need cleaning, and then I have an ultrasonic cleaner with some of the blade cleaner from Lauby, because it's cheaper than H42, but you go H42. If they're really nasty, they do get washed. Otherwise, to speed things up, except if my wife's here, because I go twice as fast with her, I just blow them out so they get sharpened. Then I go through a double rinse. So that's just water. They're not filled with water right now, but there's the second. So I have a brush. They get brushed in this one and rinsed. And I think that's, you know, I don't believe in this burr stuff on these, but if I'm doing anything, and actually when they come off of the plate, I have one of these brushes and I brush the crap off. Then it goes into the first wash, gets brushed again, and then I just dip it in the second wash. Then I put it on here with a towel and pat it dry. That's for the 7s, 30s, whatever. Get that a little crooked. And I just pat them dry. The thicker, you know, the ones that are taller, it wants to hold the water in there, so I hit that with some air after a pat dry. Okay, and then they go back to the cupcake holder, and once I do all the blades, I go over to my little spot here, since we're doing this. So I got a spot here. Here we go. Sorry. There's some of my tools. They all get laid down, but they get the reassembly here. Then they come over to the next station, which is here. There's my test clippers and my test furs up here. They get tested, then they get blown out. I just put some air in here so that at this area they can get tested and then blown out. Then I put them in the I bought these little blades off of Amazon. I got like 1,000 or something. It's a huge bag. I got a huge bag of those, and they go back to the basket or whatever I'm putting their stuff on. I'm up to 12 minutes. Sorry for a long video. I don't like to make them too long, but that's my procedure there. But the big announcement was the flat plate, and I'm really impressed right out the gate. And like I said, if you do drop your comb or cutter on it, it's a much easier. It's actually, there's a fix, and you don't have to resurface. But then you saw the wood thing I have across there. That's how I keep it from falling. That's like the second I'm done, or very quickly after I'm done, I throw that back on there, so there's no way those things can fall, especially in a bus. When you're moving, that's the biggest thing. I got my mirror so I can look right back at the Treyco, and if I don't see those things leaning on the wood, the bus doesn't move. So quick update here. In the back of the bus, maybe you saw it, I have now bought a big ultrasonic cleaner. I built this additional shelf in there. I've got two 1750 or 1800, the slower of the grinders, and I feel that works better. I've had some tragic issues with the faster ones. I don't think they're only should be used for aggressive sharpening. And as far as like that red Scotch-Brite type of wheel, you don't need that running at 3600. If you leave it on too long, it can melt and stuff. So the slower ones, I think, are much better for the stuff that we do. And the whole point of that is for my knife sharpening, because what I got is down under here is my knife, and I'm doing a lot more knife. I'm actually going to start And once I get the stuff, I got knife sheaths coming in. I'm gonna have a pop-up tent. What I want to get is one of those flags put out by the road that says sharpening or something on it. And then I'm gonna start going town to town and doing knife sharpening just for fun. So this bus is just, oh yeah, and the bus is paid off. 1 year, got it buses. This bus is totally paid off. And it's, my God, if I was a good businessman, I probably know how much I made in this thing, but it paid for itself, and quickly. So real happy. I'll cut her short there. We're gonna do another video here sooner. I've been talking to a couple people and they're like, where's your videos? So I said, let's do this one, get it out there. So thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Keep it sharp.